And joining us now in the studio is transportation analyst Seth Kaplan. I want to get your thoughts on Boeing CEO's comments today. He did appear to shift some responsibility to the pilots. He mentioned this link that would be broken, but overall, how did you think he performed?
Well, I think if he was looking to sort of turn the page and really get past this and take full responsibility, he didn't really accomplish that today. If anything, perhaps kind of walked back some of the responsibility Boeing had taken. I mean, look, there's no question that yes, it's true. No crash happens because of just one thing. The MCAS system was clearly to blame. Were there things the pilots could have done differently? Sure, clearly in the Lion Air case at least. In the Ethiopian case, the Ethiopian investigation at least found that the pilots more or less did what they could have, which is not to say that there couldn't have been something more. But all that said, Boeing here at least has enough responsibility in the public eye that he might have done himself better to sort of just take more full responsibility. He defended Boeing, said it has a strong safety culture. And look, sure, it's done more right than wrong over the years, but here you have these two disasters. You might have wanted to hear him say, we're going to review this company top to bottom and make all the changes we have to.
So that being said, where do you things stand with Boeing? Let's begin with the stock prices. Those are down. He's clearly trying to address investor concerns. But as a company, where do they stand?
This is a company that has a lot to prove now in terms of restoring its credibility. Look, Boeing has certain structural benefits. I mean, it's one member of what, for now at least, is a duopoly. And not only that, but a lot of the airlines that fly the MAX really want this very badly to work out. An airline, let's say like Southwest Airlines in the United States, a great example, has 700 737s, mostly not MAXes so far, and no other kind of aircraft at all. So they don't really want to go out and shop with Boeing's competitor Airbus, nor with, let's say, Comac in China, the C919 being marketed now, because they have so many of these planes. It would be expensive and complex to take something else. But all that said, there are alternatives, and in fact, not just Airbus, but Chinese manufacturers in Russia and elsewhere that want to break into the market, and Boeing needs to make sure that this doesn't give them that opportunity.
How long before things go back to normal, so to speak?
It's going to be months at least before this plane is recertified by the FAA and by the Federal Aviation Administration, that is in the U.S., and by the counterparts around the world. If you just kind of look at airline schedules, they've basically taken this plane out. So it's going to take getting the plane back in the air. From the public standpoint, it's not going to be that first flight where people feel okay. It's really going to take time of this plane flying safely for a while. Muhlenberg said that a lot of what Boeing is doing is going to solve the problem. We heard in that soundbite before, break the link in the chain. And sure, some very simple things that you wish they would have done sooner, just relying on those two angle of attack sensors, as they're known, rather than one, should prevent a lot of these kinds of incidents. The chances of two sensors breaking at once far less than the chance of just one sensor. But basically, it's going to take time. And then Boeing has to not lose too much market share to Airbus. A lot of this happened in the first place because Airbus got a head start. Boeing, perhaps kind of rushed into this. So right now they've already sort of reduced their production levels. They need to get back to that sort of 50-50 level that they were at with Airbus for a lot of years here.
You're thinking months, years?
Well, months at least to sort of hopefully turn the page, but years before, from a financial standpoint, at least for Boeing, things are back to where they could have been, and before the public just clearly moves on. There's still every opportunity that, a decade or two from now, we look back on this as just sort of a difficult period and what will have become a successful program for Boeing, but we're not there yet. It has to get a lot of things right.
All right, Seth Kaplan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Elaine.